Sit down, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Got a problem, Steve?
I was hoping you could tell me. I sent for you because I wanted a report on Susan Moore.
Well, what in particular?
How it went in surgery?
It was about as expected. She survived, but she's still in very critical condition.
I know all that.
Then what?
Tell me what happened during the surgery.
Rumors travel fast here, don't they, Steve?
You denying it? Well?
I have nothing to say.
Two senior doctors decide to do battle of a patient right in the middle of an operation, and neither of you cares to discuss it? Well, permit me to insist. I want to know what it was all about. Mark, you're the chief surgeon?
The patient suffered an unstable cervical fracture with blunt trauma to the chest with possible cardiac contusion. Due to the severity of the fracture, I decided to operate immediately. I asked Dr. Weber to be present because of the cardiac problem.
Rick?
In the second hour of the operation, arrhythmias developed. We administered lidocaine. Heartbeat went back to a normal sinus rhythm. However, I recommended very strongly against continuing the surgery because of the weak heart.
And you disagreed?
Dr. Dante overruled my decision, placing the woman's life in great jeopardy.
Steve,
We had just gotten that heart stabilized.
I felt I couldn't stop at that point. The nature of the fracture was such that...
You could have gone back in for that at some other time. There was no sense in jeopardizing her life to such an extent.
Of course, if you consider paralysis as an alternative.
All right, stop it. I asked for an explanation, not a reenactment. Now, you're both professionals. At least you were until you gave good sense away to bicker over a procedure during an operation.
You completely ignored my recommendation at great risk to the patient's
I
life.
rejected it, but I did consider it.
Well, why did you call me in if you weren't going to take my recommendation?
Because I thought I was...
May I interrupt? May I interrupt for a moment? Now, each of you did what you felt was right. The patient survived, and we hope she'll live and won't be paralyzed. That much, at least, we all agree on, but the rest is unimportant. And if you insist on fighting it out, you'll have to do it somewhere else, on your own time. As far as this hospital is concerned, the matter is closed. Is that understood?
Well, look who's here.
She came straight from the airport. How is she?
Not good. You heard about the operation?
Downstairs. What about Jason?
Oh, he's with my neighbor. He's just fine.
Listen, I appreciate very much everything you've done. Thank you. How did it happen?
Susan was drinking.
Well, at least that was part of it.
What do you mean? There was more?
Well, I think something happened to upset Susan. When she left here yesterday, she was drunk. But she wasn't crazy enough to go drive into a wall. Somewhere between the hospital and the time she had her accident, I think somehow she went over the edge or was pushed.
What are you saying?
That if I wanted to know the real reason she got into that accident, I'd look to the last person she saw.
Who was that?
I think it was Scott.
What did you do to her? What are you talking about?
Take a wild guess.
Why didn't you stop her?
What did you do, take an ad out in the paper?
I just want to see justice done, Counselor.
You could have sobered her up. Why did you let her drive off dead drunk?
She's a grown woman. I can't tell her what to do.
Of course you can when she's not capable of making a decision for herself.
Well, I had no idea she was going to drive into a wall.
Are you blind as well as stupid?
Now, wait a minute. Let me say
Sure,
something.
I got a minute. I got more than a minute. I got all the time in the world. That's more than I can say for Susan. She's not going to be that lucky, thanks to you.
Me? Now, let me say
Will
something.
you stop
okay?
this? Now, my niece is in there dying, and all any of you can do is stand around blaming everybody else for her accident? I mean, just where were any of you when she needed you? I'm sorry, it was uncalled for.
But not untrue, Alice.
It's just that if we all care for Susan, why can't you allow Scotty his right, too?
Thank you, Alice. I don't know how this whole thing got started, but I care about Susan. And I would have done anything to prevent that accident.
I know that.
You may just get the chance to prove it.
Great.
Captain Ramsey's looking for you.
What?
He wants to know what really happened between you and Susan in your office.
Not exactly what you would call a shopping spree on Fifth Avenue, is it?
I'm not complaining.
I owe you one.
Just one?
Just one.
I know.
It's so awful.
Mother, are you all right?
Heather, why don't you take her home?
Right away.
See, you go home with her. I will check with you later to make sure Jason's all right.
We'll be there.
Alan. Hi, we heard you were back.
How's Susan?
Hanging on.
Is there anything we can do?
Keep your son away from me.
Well, what'd Scotty do?
Oh, Scotty, well, Susan went to Scotty's office just before the accident.
And?
She was drunk. He let her go away. He let her drive off. She couldn't even stand up. He let her drive away.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't either until Heather told me. Heather also insinuated that something must have happened in Scotty's office to cause Susan to do that.
No, wait, I'm confused.
Welcome to the club.
Well, no, was it an accident because of drunk driving, or was it an attempt at suicide? Which?
There's only one person who can answer that question.
Well, the pattern, at least, is clear.
Well, explain it to me, will you?
Susan was upset. She went to see Alan, and Alan obviously rejected her.
I had no choice.
Maybe not, but that must have made her even more upset. Then she went to see Scotty, and Scotty turned her away as well.
Or something.
Look, Susan came here to see you, right?
Briefly?
Well, couldn't you see that she'd been drinking? Didn't you suspect that she was a danger to herself and others?
I knew she'd been drinking, but I had seen her far worse than that.
So have I, Lee.
Look, Alan, according to the alcoholic content that was in her blood when she was admitted here, she must have had then an awful lot to drink after she left you and before she got to Scotty's office.
What do we do now? Who's going to protect Susan's interests? You're the only one that I trust.
Well, of course, I can't handle that. I'll try to find out as much as I can about the accident for you, then.
I appreciate that. When will you start?
Well, I'm not sure, but there is one question that must be addressed, and soon, Alan. What's going to happen to Jason if Susan dies?
What's going on?
What do you mean?
Well, I saw Ramsey in the lobby. He ordered me in here and said he wanted to talk to me.
Probably about my statement to the police.
Really?
Well, I'm not sitting here because I like the coffee.
How's Susan?
Not good. Doesn't look like she's gonna make it. I feel rotten about it, but nobody believes me.
I do.
That's good. Why don't you tell it to him?
Have a seat. Could I ask you to vacate yours for a few minutes? I'd like to talk to Laura alone.
Sure thing.
But don't go too far. You're next.
I can hardly wait.
Laura, tell me, were you in the office when Susan Moore came to see Scotty?
Both times.
There was more than one?
Yes, Scotty wasn't in the first time.
Mm-hmm. Well, would you tell me about it?
She was, well, she'd been drinking. She even wanted the bottle behind Scotty's desk.
And did you give it to her?
No, of course not. I even suggested that she go home and sleep it off.
Well, what did she say to that?
She got really mad. She was very upset with Scotty.
Why?
I don't know. She didn't say. She just barged in and insisted on talking to him.
But she didn't stay there and wait for him to come back.
No, she went around the corner to a cafe to get another drink. She said she'd be back.
And she was.
She came back right after Scotty returned from Holly's hearing.
Well, go ahead. What happened then?
It was really weird what happened. She just stormed in and went into a rage and left.
Now, why would you do something like that?
I don't know. You know, it just happened so fast, and... Well, I thought we should go after her,
But what?
Well, Scotty said not to worry.
He said to just let her leave. Interesting. Well, that'll be all for now. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
Well, Scotty did call Heather and say that Susan was drunk and to take care of her. He did try and help, really.
That'll be all. That'll be all. Thanks. Ask Scotty to come over now. Second team? Come on, sit down. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea, except this isn't my idea of an interrogation room.
It'll do.
Well, then I'll try and get in the mood.
Oh, gee, I'd appreciate that. Now, I know that you were the last person to see Susan Moore before the accident.
Me and Laura, I gave my statement to the officer.
I also know that she was drinking very heavily and was very upset.
Well, now you know everything I do. Can I go now?
No, not until I get some direct answers from you.
Such as?
Such as, didn't you realize that Susan was drunk?
Sure I did.
Why didn't you stop her from leaving?
Because I couldn't.
Did you try?
It all happened very fast.
Oh. But not so fast that you couldn't tell your secretary not to worry about her.
She told you that?
Yes, that, among other things.
The reason why I told Laura to forget about it, you see, Susan has been drinking quite heavily for the last few months, and she's never had an accident, and she's never endangered herself or her child.
Until yesterday afternoon.
Well, I didn't know that she wasn't able to drive.
Maybe she was.
What?
Able to drive. Very able. Maybe too able.
You're losing me.
I don't think so. But I'll lay it out for you. Maybe Susan Moore deliberately drove into that wall.
Do you mean?
Maybe she wanted to die.
That's crazy.
Just as crazy as Susan was when she came into your office yesterday?
Well, yes, but...
Yes, but why was she in such a rage? What upset her so?
I don't know.
That's funny. Neither did Laura. Why don't you tell me exactly what happened?
You know all of it.
Well, refresh my memory.
All right. Susan came in. Laura and I were doing some office work. She started yelling. She started screaming. She wasn't making any sense. She just ran out.
Sounds like she was telling everyone off. Trying to even the score, perhaps.
You think she tried to kill herself?
Do you?
Possibility.
That Susan tried to commit suicide.
Well, she was drunk. She was crazy.
Scotty, have you ever heard of the bartender's law?
Yeah, why?
It's rather interesting. In a lot of states, a bartender can be held responsible if knowingly he allows an intoxicated person to drive a car. If she gets killed or kills someone or harms someone while driving.
I know the law.
Good. You know, I think I could make a suggestion that you bone up on that law in case you're not too sure exactly how it goes.
Why?
Scotty, you're a lawyer. It would seem to me that a charge of that kind could very well apply in this case.
That's ridiculous.
If Susan Moore doesn't survive.
You know that Holly's been named as an accessory to murder.
Yes, I read about it in the papers, but I think they're wrong.
So do we.
I mean, Holly was with Luke. And Luke was the one who convinced me that my husband had been murdered. And the autopsy proved that he was right.
Do you believe that Oliver Durbin murdered your husband?
Oh, I know that he did. And so do the police. But because they can't find him, they're trying to convict Holly.
But not if we can help it.
Believe me, no one wants him to be convicted more than I do. But I want the real murderer, not some scapegoat.
Would you be prepared to help us make that happen?
Of course I would. I'm sorry. Please sit down.
Thank you.
Now, we have to prove that Holly wasn't in collusion with her family at the time she was on the run.
But that's obvious.
To us, perhaps, but not the DA. We have to prove that she was under continual threats and duress.
How can I help?
if you can tell us everything that you know about Holly and Oliver.
Well, I know now that Oliver was here in my house at my husband's wake. Trying to get to Holly, I imagine.
Now, wait. Holly was obviously with Luke.
Oh, yes. And I could tell that she was terrified of Oliver because she spilled a cup of coffee on him, and then she and Luke were able to escape.
Was that the last time that you saw them?
No, they came back a little later, and I tried to get them to spend the night here. At first they considered it, and then they left. I guess they were afraid that Durbin would find them.
Okay, well, I can't blame them for that.
Oh, I really want to help, Holly. What can I do?
Would you sign a statement outlining that everything that you've told us?
I certainly will. I'll do anything to convict him. I want him to pay for my husband's murder. And I will not let some innocent girl pay for his crime.
I saw Ramsey leave. What happened?
Nothing.
What'd he say?
Just asked me a few questions, no big deal.
I'm not so sure.
Really, it was nothing. It's nothing for you to worry about.
Well, Ramsey seems to think we could have stopped Susan.
Good for him.
Could we, Scotty? Could we have saved Susan?
Listen, what happened, happened, okay? We didn't cause it, and we couldn't have stopped it. Now, I don't want you feeling guilty about that. You got that?
I do. I do. It was partly our fault.
That's ridiculous.
She was upset because of us.
Because of that little kiss in the office?
That. And remember the lunch at Dino's? She got so crazy when she saw us together.
So?
So that's exactly what happened in the office yesterday.
Look, let me tell you something, okay? Susan is a lush and a hothead. And you put those things together, and that's deadly.
That's not all.
What? You know something I don't?
She was in love with you, wasn't she?
I don't know. Maybe.
Did you lead her on?
What are you talking about?
Did you let Susan think you left her?
Listen, it doesn't make any difference, okay? So would you just forget about it?
But that's not what's bothering me.
Well, then what is bothering you?
There's a woman upstairs fighting for her life, and it didn't have to be this way. We could have saved her.
Scotty told her to let Susan go?
He told Laura not to worry about it.
He told you that?
Well, these were Laura's words, but Scotty admitted it. He said that he knew that Susan had been drinking for months, but she hadn't been in trouble before.
I wouldn't say that.
Did Scotty say that anything happened in the office that could have triggered the accident?
No.
Don't forget, it was Heather who started that rumor, Alan. She suggested that Susan must have been driven to such a state that she was incapable of driving, let alone doing anything else. Of course, we all know that Heather is hardly a reliable witness.
So we're right back where we started from.
I don't know who to believe.
Well, the only person who can tell us the real reason for the accident is the woman who was involved. And until Susan can talk, if she ever can, we've just got to sit and wait. Excuse me.
Sit and wait? What if she doesn't make it? What if she doesn't make it? Who's going to look after Jason?
Alan, Jason has a ready-made family all waiting for him if Susan doesn't make it.
You talking about Alice?
And dear cousin Heather, who was bending over backwards to be nominated Surrogate Mother of the Year, if she takes as good a care of Jason as she says she does, he is in excellent hands.
Somehow that's no consolation.
It wasn't meant to be. Rick? Rick, any news about Susan?
I'm just on my way to find out.
Dr. Dante, Dr. Weber, it's Miss York. She's fibrillating.
Recovery staffed.
They've got to save her. The Jasons say they've got to save her. Oh, God, let her live.
On All My Children.
In the end, you'll see that I'm right. That is, if Nina survives what you're putting her through.
Oh, she will. She's a Cortland. She'll survive.
If anything happens, I'll hold you personally responsible.
And On the Edge of Night.
Now, you're going to have to get close to Ian. You're going to have to get him to reveal his true self to you, but he can't find out about us.
All My Children, The Edge of Night. Weekdays